All right, guys. Hello. Good morning. It's like 12, I think. And just coming out. I figured it's a bit later than I wanted to be, but you know, I'm here. I'm doing my thing. So this is the area that I'm in. I just left the place. 6-7. But yeah, so here's I kind of revised my idea. Oh, by the way, here's there's two cars that were like fucked. I don't know if the fire happened or something, but they were fucked up. But anyway, I was thinking about actually just walking around, chatting with you guys, kind of enjoying the sun. That's kind of my thought. And we'll just see what happens. Because I kind of don't want to like carry this this filming equipment into the store. So, oh my gosh, it is so hot. Wow. I put sunscreen on, but I suspect this is going to be tough to keep myself from getting a little crispy. But who knows? Now, I think because the sun is basically like, we can probably walk in a lot of shade if I just do this and walk this way. So that's my thought. But yeah, good morning or afternoon, I guess. This is kind of, you know, this is where I'm at. Oh, that's a nice little convenience store. I like, but trying really hard not to bother people as I'm filming. But yeah, one thing that's interesting is, and I talked about it before, but just, you know, during the hottest part, there's that period where everything kind of shuts down and people go home to to relax and enjoy kind of a break in the middle of the day, maybe eat lunch or whatever, you know. So that's kind of cool. Also, I haven't walked this way, so this will be fun. But get to explore more. Do I want to cross? I kind of like that I'm in shade, so I'm gonna hold on to this way. Now the other way, once I get sufficiently far down, I think I'll turn around, and we'll do. And we'll check out the little park that's nearby. There's like a cute little dog park, so that would be cool. But oh man, it's good to just be out walking and talking with you guys. I don't know. I've really enjoyed my time here so far. And I think doing a bit more exploring would be cool. So I'm hoping to just kind of make this. I don't know how long this is going to be. You know, I don't want to be... Oh, I love these little... Here, let me show you. Look at this. It's so cute. I love that specific flower is just really cool. So I figured I would show you guys. But yeah, they're just kind of all along the road. Okay, I think we're good. Kind of zooming along. I haven't really been looking too much into the individual stores, so I don't know. But this is a long stretch of no shade. Oh yeah, I gotta show you guys the water fountains. I'll show you when we get to the dog park. But they're like kind of all over. It's really cool. They're not powered by anything. They just have, it's just like the whole system has been engineered such that the water auto flows without needing any pumps or anything. So that's really cool. I love I don't know, just the environment here is so good. I like that. Look at all I love the like pastel colors of the different buildings. You got the pinks and the yellows and the oranges. It's nice. Maybe I'll turn soon, and then I'm getting close to like a major, I think it's part of the outer loop. There's like a loop that goes around Rome. I think this is part of it up here. So I think I'll turn around once I get here. But I love look at the cool, the green shutters. I don't know. It's simple, but it's like there's something just really aesthetic about it. I feel silly talking about buildings, but you know, sometimes it just be like that. Oh, what's this? I'm curious what this is. And then a street down is like a major kind of thoroughfare you can use. I wonder if this is like, oh, this is like it's like a basketball court. That's cool. Oh, that's cute. There's like a nice little playground, and here, let me show you guys. So you got like the playground behind me there, and then over here is like a basketball court. And you see over there behind me is like the main like kind of thoroughfare highway. So God, I'm already hot. It's like almost 90 degrees out, or it's probably 90 at this point. It's gonna hit like 96 by like 2. So I kind of want to be back by like 1. I'm just gonna go up here. Why not? Oh, they have barbed fences. But yeah, that just like, I don't know, the architecture and the way that everything has kind of been built. You see how much higher the average kind of like set of buildings are. You know, one thing I haven't noticed much of is like actual houses. And I think that's, I don't know, I think most people just live in these huge block apartments. So I'm sure there's somewhere, but it's probably outside of the city because space is kind of a premium. Oh, look at how this is like a larger version of that tree. Has all the pretty blossoms. Okay. Oh yeah, also the trash, they separate it pretty well, slightly different, I think. Let me cross. But oh, there was I just remembered there was crows that like, or they look like crows, but they look like penguin crows. I don't know the actual terminology for them, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Damn, do I want to keep going? I kind of like the shade, so I might just loop back around. Feels bad. Well, we'll have plenty of time to do this. I'm gonna try to make it a point to go out and walk a different way each time. Because I still have like 2 weeks left being here. Later in the week, I think I'm planning on getting, I don't know, like, I want to do the Vatican and the Colosseum, maybe in one day. Although, you know, maybe I'll do one each day. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But doing that with you guys so you can see that. Oh yeah, like, there's lots of pigeons. Classic pigeons. There's also seagulls. They just love just vibing in the city. Someone, I guess, brought them to Rome and then they just adapted, which is really funny. So anyway, oh my gosh, I'm just sweating so much already. It's only been like 13 minutes. But yeah, so this is a nice area. You know, I didn't notice how interesting this building looked, but you know, take a look at that. The building looks really cool. So wonder why it's structured that way. Oh, it looks like maybe it's a church. I think this is a church. Here, I can show you guys the sign. You can see. Pretty sure it's a church of some kind. Oh, that's cute. They have little like costume things. But yeah. There's also some really cool scenery that we can do. Like, there are really cool little areas that you can see a lot of Rome that the roommate was talking to me about. So I definitely want to check that out. Oh man, I kind of want to... Oh. But yeah. So what do you guys think so far? You know, it's a nice little walk. The main thing is the heat. I think if it was like 85, I feel like that would be better temperature. But, you know, we're doing the best we can. But, oh, also, something I found really cool, just in general, just how much smaller the cars are in general. Like, everything has been shrunk. And there's a lot of people on, like, the little, these, here, I'll show you. These little, like, motorbikes. So, yeah, I don't know. But it's cool. I'm also a big fan of the like terrace stuff that they got going on, where almost every balcony has little plants hanging from them, giving some greenery to the area. Like here, I'll show you guys specifically. I mean, you guys can see behind me, but across the street, it's like a perfect example. You just see plants basically everywhere. See what I'm saying? So, barbershop. But I'm in a car dealer. But yeah. Okay. I think the next plan is to, I showed you like one street, which, you know, it's not much, but like this is the area. It's nice. I think I'll show you the dog park and the little bus stop. Oh, the little bus benches are like, dare I say, worse than the previous benches. Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Oh, pretty good. That was a nice lady from, I chatted with her when I first got here. And,
No, non passare azione.
And basically, she was the one who helped me get the charger. She was very much like, she helped me ground me in the very beginning before I met the roommate. So that was really nice. All right, we're gonna come across here, but yeah, I think I'll cross back this way. I could just walk across, but fuck it. Oh, basically, you just kind of YOLO when you walk across the street. There's no lights, and you just hope that people don't fucking kill you. Which honestly is a lot of trust, all things considered. But yeah, there's like just garbage cans all over the place. Which makes sense. But yeah, you basically just do the garbage cans and that's it. Oh fuck. trying not to wipe off my sunscreen, but it is hard. But yeah, here, let me show you. So like, they got the bottles and cans, then they got paper. This is like the mixed garbage. Then they have glass, mixed garbage. They also have like food waste up on the other one. I'll show you guys. But oh, by the way, these are the like crow equivalent. They're just noisy as fuck. It's really funny. But maybe I can get a shot of one of them at some point and show you guys what I'm talking about. They just look like crows that have a tuxedo on. It's very funny. Oh yeah, there's also like across the street. Jesus Christ. That was a huge ass bee. Wonder what happened to the pizza place. They've been closed for the past 2 days. Hope nothing bad happened. But yeah, so this is the organic one I was talking about. But yeah, you can see how like split up all of it is. So yeah, just more blocked streets like this. It tends to be the case that it's like people live on top of like convenience stores or other stuff like that. So oh, this is a cute little car. Let me show you guys. Look at this cute guy. But yeah, so, and then again, end of the block, they have another row of trash cans. So also, parking here is kind of weird. Like, people just YOLO park places, and I'm like, oh. But you'll see the bus stop in a minute and the weird benches. I didn't want to like film the benches because there's someone sitting on them, so didn't want to bother them. But across the way is the park that I'm gonna go to. Although, kind of don't want to actually walk the park, believe it or not, because it is kind of just not in shade. So I'm just gonna be cooking alive in there. So maybe I'll just film the outside so you can see the general layout. You know, here, I'll just do this. So you see behind me, it's like, it's a nice park for like dogs, or there's like a dog park section, and then there's like, you know, just normal people section, but it's nice. It's cool. It's a cool little area. Oh no, those are pigeons. I was thinking maybe they had one of the little guys, but you'll see the scooters everywhere. honestly, I kind of want to do a scooter just for like the hell of it, but I feel like a car would be better if I'm gonna do that route of renting. So, plus I haven't been on a scooter in a long time. So, not that I'm avoiding that, it's just, you know. But I figured I might as well go down here and then I'll show you guys the Chinese store that I was talking about. Oh man, I just wish it wasn't so hot. That's, you know, I'm complaining, I'm a little baby, but you know, it's like once you get past 90, it starts to just get pretty rough. But I'm very grateful that I have such good AC. Oh wow. Whew. Oh yeah, this little like diner, I say diner, it's more like a coffee shop that has like pastries and whatnot. I was told that it's really good and I should go in there sometime for like lunch, but I don't know, we'll see. I'm not a big fan of eating like bread in the morning if I can help it, so, but yeah. You can see like the larger building over there. And just how, like, you know, you can see how busy the street is. Also, we totally passed the place. I forgot it's one street over. So, whoops. But I'll show you guys next time. Do I want to go? I guess I'll. You are daring. You are a daring guy. That little pigeon was like, I am gonna stand as close to you as possible. Oh, there's the bus. Oh, there's two different buses. The classic double bus. So 448 and a 544. But yeah, so this is, oh my gosh, the pigeons are like, they have all sorts of colors going on. Like that one was like kind of darkish brown almost. Okay, well, I'll be able to enjoy the shade most of the way up, back up this way. Here's a good shot, minus the garbage cans, of like, you can see, you guys could kind of see all the way down, so that's cool. But yeah, there's a lot of, surprisingly, there's a lot of greenery, a lot more than I kind of expected. I mean, it makes sense having bushes and trees and all sorts of stuff like that, but you can hear all the birds. They're so loud. They just love these evergreens. Alright. I think I'm gonna head back inside, put this away, cool off a little bit, and then I will I'll head to go to the to get more fruit. Oh my god. I felt like it looked like my hand was melting. I think it's just the sunscreen, but holy fuck. Oh yeah, they also have vending machines. There's a vending machine like across the way. That's cool. I think I'm gonna try it. Ooh. Okay, I made it. But yeah, here's the place that I'm staying at. So, but all right, I'm gonna go. I hope you enjoyed the first little tour. It's like, you know, not much, but okay, I'm gonna go. Bye. Hey guys, it is sorry. Jesus. Okay, sorry. It's 2:17, and after I relaxed for like half hour when I got back from the little walk that we did, I ended up going to the local grocery store and ended up picking up like some nuts. I tried one of their little cheese snacks because why not? That's my like one thing that I'll be like, okay, I just wanted to see the difference. It was fine. It was like, it reminded me a little bit of like a Cheeto if it wasn't doused in like cheese flavoring and it was just more natural cheese instead. So yeah, snack was fine. It was also small. It was like a little, you know, mini bag. And then I also got fruits. I got a little bit of blackberries this time. The grapes didn't look very good. They had the ones in the container had like mold, and the ones out of the container. The problem is I don't know. They looked like they said seeded, not seedless. So I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get seeded grapes. So yeah, so I didn't get those. I thought about getting a bread. I'm like I think at the end of the day, I would have got the bread if I didn't have to like figure out the machine. There's a machine that you you have this long tong that you stick in and you root around and get a bread and then scoop it to the side. There's little grates that open, so you scoop it to the side. And then you put it in a bag. And then it weighs it, and then I think it prints out a receipt, and then you tape it on, and then you're good. And then it'll scan. However, the machine, I probably could have Google translated, but I was just like, I just don't want to deal with this right now. So I didn't do bread. Next time. And then I just came back, and the cashier, everything worked out really well. I showed them the card, and they're like, aha, I understand. And then I scanned it, and that was it. So she was much more chipper than the other one that was there last time. Which, you know, to be fair, I'm not like lambasting him or anything. But yeah, so So that was good. Better experience. I'm trying really hard to like get out of my comfort zone, but it's really hard because it's like, I don't know, I feel really anxious, like not being able to read anything or hear anything and just kind of like bumbling through. So, um, so yeah, tomorrow is the I don't have a plan, and oh, that reminds me, I gotta reopen my Discord to check to see if my roommate said anything. I saw him earlier; he was cooking. He did not. Okay, cool. I'll text him in the evening on Discord or type whatever, kind of check in. But yeah. So also, the past like 2 or 3 times I've looked at the clock, I've always been one off of getting a number like 222. It just turned 222, but it was 221. I don't know. It's just funny. But anyway, so yeah, just like the act of having my phone out, or not phone, sorry, the act of having my camera out and walking for 30 minutes, like it may not seem like a lot, but it is progress in getting myself more comfortable doing, the filming in an area that clearly like people just don't really do that much. So it's kind of like different. And there's nothing wrong with different, but it's just kind of like yeah, I don't know. It's I don't want to like bother people. That's kind of, so I'm trying to balance the don't bother people with like doing the things that I want to be doing. And there's like a mix, there's a right balance, you know. So so yeah. But other than that, recently, or I say recently, the last video I watched, because I saw a video from Joey, which is he used to do he's the anime man, but he hasn't really done a lot of anime recently. I don't really watch him too often, but his video title was totally like, he's like, I don't want to be here anymore, and I was like, oh no, is he depressed? What's going on? So I watched it, and it really was like, it wasn't clickbait so much as it was like he doesn't want to be on the internet because of dead internet theory that's kind of turned into reality, where like there are now more bots than people when it comes to like traffic on the internet. So, if you're interested in looking up dead internet why can't I say that? Dead internet theory. If you're interested in looking that up, feel free. It was suggested in the 2010s, and it kind of, people are like, that's not going to happen, and now it's like actually just happening. So it's like I don't know. I think a lot of people are kind of asleep at the wheel when it comes to like, I don't know, in general. I thought about the premise that the internet is depressing. And I don't think that's actually the case. I think his little slice that he continuously interacted with is depressing. And we all kind of create our own little bubbles. And obviously, as more and more of our bubbles is inundated with AI, it becomes harder and harder to kind of filter for what is and what isn't. And it's kind of like, it's not, I'm not saying don't fight to like watch real things as opposed to AI, but it's more like, um, AI being introduced in a large way into our way of life is something that's going to happen. It's about how you kind of choose to live your life knowing that this is kind of happening. I think that's what makes a difference. And I kind of want to, I felt like I wanted to push back a little bit on this idea that we just need to kind of like all completely detox from the internet, no internet at all, and just go out and live in the woods somewhere and kind of just ignore everything. Now, I'm not, just to be clear, I'm not saying that he said that or anyone specifically is saying that, but it's more of like, you don't want to do a reflex and go too far on the pendulum the other way. There's like a good middle ground where you're mindful of what you watch and you limit the amount of kind of low slop content that you interact with. And what I mean by that is like, there's nothing wrong with an individual video that's a couple seconds long that's like a haha funny. But the problem is, it's not just one video, it's 100 videos or 200 videos that you watch before you stop. And it's really addictive. It's very easy to just keep scrolling. And, or I guess, there you go. But I think there's kind of this, you either love or you hate AI. You either are for AI or you're against AI. And I think there's a way more nuanced take on AI that I think most people just avoid, because if you say, yeah, AI can be bad, but I also think sometimes AI could be good, people are going to jump down your throat and they're going to be like, oh, you have to pick a side. You're either an AI lover or you're an AI hater. And this is kind of, I've noticed that this trend tends to be very prevalent in the US, where it's like extremes. Because I think the US has kind of cultivated that mindset of extremes. And when you do an extreme, you miss nuance. And when you miss nuance, you miss a lot of like important understandings that you can have. And so I think sorry, I got distracted by myself for a moment. I was having a moment where I was like hearing myself talk and witnessing me hearing myself talk. And I was like, oh my God, I'm observing myself at this very moment talking, and it's really distracting. I need to like focus up. So it was like, I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah. But anyway, getting back to it, I think it's hard to find balance. And what I mean by that is because things are nuanced when it comes to balance, and you have to kind of tweak the scales just a little bit to make sure that you have that right kind of distribution, oftentimes we'll overshoot it just a little bit one way or the other way. And if we let that kind of get to us, it'll kind of be, I don't know, like it'll be a scenario where you might want to put yourself down or say, oh my gosh, I'm never getting to this balance state. I always like miss it a little bit. And, you know, or you could, in this instance of like AI or watching YouTube or Twitch or playing video games or anything really, when you feel like you've given in to some sort of addiction that you have, it can feel like you've done a lot of backward progress where you're like, man, like I was doing so good for so long. And then that one day I just sat down and I just kept watching or kept, doing whatever the thing is. And I just lost it. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna, buckle up and I'm gonna do better. And then you kind of like course correct a little too much. And then you kind of get in this seesaw teetering back and forth thing where you're never truly balanced because you'll overconsume and then you'll try to underconsume to like level it out, but it actually doesn't level it out. It just moves it back the other way. And so you'll know if you've done like a good balance when you don't have to have those days or you don't feel the urge to have those days where you're consuming extra. Think about it in terms of like diets. If you eat incredibly healthy and you also you're like, okay, no flavors, just raw food, and I'm gonna do that for like ever. And you do that for a week, you maybe do that for a month, hell, you could do that for 2 months. But one day you're gonna be like, I don't necessarily, I've done so good, I wanna have like a cheat day because I miss all these foods. This cheat day is a sign that you haven't given yourself the things that you enjoy eating in a like moderate amount because you've just completely cut them out. You've been extremed too much. That wasn't necessarily what I initially was thinking of, but it works. The analogy I was thinking of was more in terms of like, if you're nutrient deficient, your body will crave a certain food really bad because your body knows that's like where I can get the nutrient. And then you might overconsume. And then your body's good for a little bit. And so then you don't crave it. And then you go back and it, again, it's the back and forth, right? But you guys get it. I think the important thing is to understand that when we're creating balance, you want to build balance in a way that is sustainable long term. And you can tweak it, and that's fine. And you don't have to marry yourself to the position that this is how it's going to be forever. A new balance can be reached where maybe watching, we'll use YouTube. Let's say you're hopelessly addicted to YouTube and you watch like 10 hours a day. Maybe cutting it down to like 3 hours or 2 hours. Maybe that's enough. Where those 2 to 3 hours you get to watch all the things that you really enjoy. Like an example, maybe there's a specific podcast you like listening to, so you watch that once a week, and maybe you have like 10 or 15 different things you keep up on. And that's like the stuff you really enjoy. And then all the other stuff past that is stuff that you just kind of watch because you're bored and you don't really have anything else going on. So if you cut the boredom part out and instead you just focus on the things that you actually really care about, that might be your balance. And then maybe one or two of the series that you're watching ends, or you don't like watching a certain person anymore, and now it's like, okay, well, maybe 3 hours is too much for me because I'm going into this like slop content or this like random suggestions content because searching is really hard. You can't find anything on the search anymore. We know it's intentional because you just want people to be looking at your feed instead. But anyway, so the point is, when you find a balance that works in the moment, you always need to keep in mind that it can change. And sometimes, like for an example, when I'm running around doing a bunch of stuff, some days I won't be on at all, and I won't like do anything internet wise aside from recording for you guys. Which isn't really even being on the internet. It's me recording and then I upload. That's it. And then there are other days where I'm like, okay, I get to watch Saga, which is a series that I like watching from. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh series. There's a Yu-Gi-Oh tuber or Yugi tuber that it's a whole thing. I enjoy watching their content. But yeah, so it's like, oh, I get to watch Saga. I get to watch the new Rust thing because William made a video, and then maybe there's like one or two other things where it's like, oh, there's like a reading that I want to listen to. It pops up, and then maybe I catch up on all that, and maybe that's 2 or 2.5 hours because a Saga episode could be an hour, and then a William video could be up to 2 hours. It's like an hour and a half sometimes. So you do that, and then you're like, cool. And so it doesn't have to be like strictly, okay, I can only watch for 1 hour today, and then if I watch over 1 hour today, it's like over. You can have the ebb and flow of some days just not watching at all, and then other days watching a little bit more. But the overall balance should be like, things you care about. And if you do it that way, where you pick a handful of things that you care about, and then kind of don't worry about the rest of the stuff because you didn't really, like, it wasn't really stuff that you cared about. It was stuff that just kind of filled time. Then you can have that balance. Same thing with like streaming. Like if you watch 10 different streamers and you filter through the different streamers throughout the day, so your whole day is streamers, it's probably too much. But if you watch one streamer a couple times a week, it's probably fine. I think we need more nuance in the conversation on it's not internet bad, it's also not internet good, it's internet gray. um so yeah, so there's that. Also, I think it's important to figure out, um, just as there's a balance on how much you consume or how much you watch or whatever, there also is kind of a balance with like just in general for your life, how much you're interacting with other people versus how much you're kind of giving to yourself in terms of like alone time. Some can skew really far into the alone, and then some can skew really far into the friend. And again, having a little bit of a balance so you're interacting with people on a consistent basis. Doesn't have to be every day, but um, getting that socializing in. And what I mean by that is not hop on Discord. That's fine. Hopping on a call and chatting with them is totally fine. But I'm talking about like seeing people in real life. This is really important because you don't realize that physically being in front of someone, there's like an exchange going on that doesn't happen online. It just doesn't. And when you have that exchange consistently, it helps you to ground yourself because the internet can make you really ungrounded. If all you hear is bad stuff and you watch internet horror, which nothing wrong with that, but like if you watch internet horror, then you watch like all these like dramas on like people killing other people, and then you watch the news and the news is talking about some like murder case that just happened or something, and then you watch like, oh my gosh, there was an earthquake here, and suddenly maybe you spend like 2, 3, 4 hours watching this content that is like all really like kind of negative. And you don't have anything to really balance it out positive wise. You can get really unbalanced and think, oh my gosh, the world is chaos, it's shit, there's like dangerous predators everywhere that's trying to kill me and like, take me in like whatever. It's not like that. And in fact, the majority of people are just really cool. They have their own lives, that they're doing their own thing, and it's a very small percentage of the population that does a lot of this like negative stuff. Most people are just out there trying to live their life. Yeah, you can catch them on a bad day, and maybe you think, oh, this is an asshole person. Maybe they're actually really kind, but they're just having a really bad day. Doesn't mean it's, whatever they said is okay. It's obviously not. But, catch that person on a good day and you'd probably think they're your best friend, So, I don't know. I think we can skew ourselves in one direction, but I think having a balance where there are bad things happening, we're not burying our head in the sand, we're not trying to pretend it doesn't exist, but just because there are bad things that are happening doesn't mean the whole world is having bad things happening to them all the time. There's a lot of really beautiful things that go on. There's a lot of really helpful people, kindness, generosity. That's all happening. And most people just aren't able to see it because it happens in the background. It's the things you don't really pay attention to because it doesn't grab you the way the negative stuff does. But I would argue there's probably more good things happening than bad things on average. Not because I'm trying to try and spin it into a positive direction of like, ooh, everything's positive. But in terms of like, if the average person leans towards the side of like doing good things, then wouldn't there just inherently be more good things happening than negative things? So I think, again, it's all about kind of balancing the perspective. And there's nothing wrong with being super positive, but it's very easy to kind of, just as it's easy to fall off the ledge when it comes to like the negative stuff, it's really easy to be high in the sky on the positive stuff. And what we want is we want a grounded experience for the most part. You know, there are reasons why you might want to be higher or lower, but like generally speaking, if you ground yourself, then you can make decisions from a perspective that is optimistic, but also protecting yourself. You know, thinking about like, I have that little, what's it called? Instead of just having a normal wallet, I have the little neck thing. Maybe it's overkill. I haven't seen anyone wearing a neck thing like I do. But you know what? If that to me is the protection part, where I'm protecting myself, and in the event that someone tries to pickpocket me, like what are they going to pickpocket? Yeah, they could probably pickpocket my phone or my keys, but like, you know, at that point it's like, yeah, that's gonna suck, but it's not gonna suck as much as losing all of the fucking stuff that I have in my little pouch, right? Now, do I think I'm gonna get pickpocketed? No, I actually don't. I think, generally speaking, walking around, I'm gonna be fine. Um, but should I have precautions? Yeah, and that's it. That's really all it boils down to. Just having enough precautions, keeping yourself safe. You know, it's similar to the idea of like, don't go into a really shady back alley in the middle of the night where you know there's a bunch of people that have dubious reasons of being there. Just don't do it. Because if you're never putting yourself in that situation, then the likelihood of something bad happening to you during that time is a lot lower. Now, that doesn't mean if you have to walk through an alley like that you won't be protected or that things won't go fine. It's very possible that everything works out and it's fine. But limiting the amount of time that you do something like that, it makes a difference. And so this is where you can have this balance of protection while still being open and accepting of that most people are kind. And so I think having optimism, it doesn't cost you anything. And again, it's you can have optimism and still protect yourself. You can think the best of someone while making sure that you're not like giving them the opportunity to like absolutely fuck you over because it's the first time you're meeting them, right? Um if I went up to a random stranger and gave them my like passport and said, "Here you go." Like yeah, obviously that's like silly. Why would you do that? Yeah, most people are probably just going to be like, "What?" and then give it back. But then maybe there's a small percentage who are like, "Oh yeah, I was waiting for that," and then they take it and leave, right? So like, you know, I think there's no reason to tempt like fate like that. you know, it seems silly. But yeah, uh, I think understanding understanding the principle of balance and having balance in your life. I think that's just like it matters so much that I think it's like a core principle of like having a life that you enjoy. Because we're not all productive at all hours of the day. We also can't just lay around all day and do nothing. So having times of rest and having times of like activity, balance. Now, at that same token, you don't want to do an extreme when it comes to balance. Because balance does have an extreme as well. Everything must be perfectly balanced. No, it doesn't need to be perfectly balanced. Just approximations. If you're a slight bit off one way or the other, it's fine. Like, you know, we're not going to have all the scales perfectly balanced at all times. That just doesn't happen. And for the very few people that it may happen, it's like they went to this extreme on purpose to make it happen. Nothing wrong with that, but also like it is an extreme. Um, just as living in a state of complete chaos and basically just allowing yourself to have no balance, that's also the opposite end there. So be balanced within your balance. So yeah. I don't know. I kind of I've just struggled a little bit with figuring out where my balance should be. And I say should as in what feels right for my balance. Because I definitely have had moments in my life where I've been way too deep in the weeds on like internet and like basically just living in this, I don't know, this like very floaty world of the internet. Using it as an escape, playing WoW all day, like stuff like that. And then on the other end, I've had times where cutting everything out, like, yeah, it happened, but also it kind of was it's like you can't ignore that the internet exists and that AI is happening and all of this stuff. You can't really hide from it. But also, you don't have to let it control you. So I think, again, it's all coming back to balance. But it's like, what is reasonable for you or reasonable for me or whatever? Whatever is reasonable, it's going to look different. Because I might have more needs or more enjoyment out of certain things. And so maybe I'd want to be on more than you. Maybe I'd want to be on less than you. Maybe your job involves being online a lot. So, like, that's why I say I think it's variable to the individual. And only you can figure out where your balance point is. And you'll know that you're in balance, relatively speaking, because you won't feel this like craving one way or another. It's like, oh, I probably should go outside, but if you start having anxiety about going outside, or if you do have anxiety on going outside, this might be, I'm not saying it is, but it might be an indicator that you're online too much. And I say might be because there could be other reasons that have nothing to do with the internet. But yeah. So I think if you are in a scenario where you have anxiety about kind of just basic interaction, basic social interactions, I don't want to say a one size fits all. I will say finding a friend, whether it be on Discord or, on your phone or a neighbor or whatever, someone that you trust enough to help you kind of bridge the gap. You mentioned like, hey, I want to go outside more, but I feel really anxious and I'm worried that like bad things are going to happen or whatever the scenario is that's making you anxious. Taking the time to find someone that can like help you just bring you places. I'll be like, hey, can we like do something? I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just going outside to the park. Assuming you have a park, maybe it's a beach, maybe it's a field. I don't know, but like going for a little walk or going to like a mall or some sort of like shopping center or whatever. Could be all sorts of things. And kind of taking some small steps to kind of open yourself up more. That's kind of like, again, that's what I've been doing here, where it's like, I feel bad that the first week of videos was just me talking to you guys on here from this angle. But I just wasn't comfortable yet with the space enough to where I could go outside and like film. I worked on it. Same thing with like, I wasn't comfortable like going to the center of Rome. Not because it's like super difficult to get there. It's pretty easy. You go on a bus or you get a car and you head in. But the thing is, it was like a lot in the beginning. And then I worked on it and then, did the thing. So, yeah. But I think working through it and being a little uncomfortable within tolerance, you don't have to like do something insane, but just be within a reasonable tolerance range. And then yeah, you'll slowly grow the tolerance over time. And eventually the walk will seem really silly. Like, yeah, I can totally do walks. It's like not even I can do it by myself. It's not even that scary. And then you do the next thing, which maybe is like going to a mall by yourself or whatever it is, right? So, yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to let you guys go for the day because I don't know what I'm going to do the rest of the day, but I think I'm going to just vibe. I did my Tai Chi in the morning, I did my writing, we went to the store, I also did the walk. So I feel like I've accomplished a lot today. And so I don't really feel like doing much else. So I think I'm just going to vibe. So yeah, I guess thanks for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.